I would like to explain something about design in comic books and the way of storytelling and how to get reader to get interested, to get involved and attracted, and don't let him out ever. And this is something I do on purpose because many comic artists, my fellow artists all around the world, they sometimes do such things, but occasionally, like accidentally. I do it on purpose because I want to, and I actually spend most of my career not to enhance my way of drawing, but to enhance what is most important in comic books. I think it's a storytelling way, how to explain to the reader what you want, where, and then when you get him, how to lead him around the story and never let him out. So, for the starter, to tell something about the grids on the comic page. We call them grids, like, and this is most classical, same as this one, even more classical, like 6 grid panel. This is something you can run into most of the American production, for example, and many of European. How to make it interesting, actually, to change the point of view in this like action scene with some crusaders and things like that, by doing like bird's view, like juxtapositions of the frames and things like that. The previous one is something I actually prefer to make it a little bit more elegant and like prolonged. Also, to make the page interesting, you switch to some let's say American cut to some half total to make the page interesting. Then we go to some 8-panel grid. Many pages are done in such a way, but so I decided to make it more interesting for me and for the reader. So I made a composition of like 2 diagonal panels, and actually sort of a diagonal two panels as a juxtaposition to establish sort of a rhythm in storytelling by changing the close-ups and mid-plans and totals, things like that. Then we get to more interesting, how to make it more intrigued. Classical 6-panel grid, you actually divide on three horizontal and 3 vertical panels to actually have more tension and more interesting design on the panel. Then we go further, even more. This time we have like three verticals on the top and 3 horizontal. But what is most important, you not do it on the to damage the script. You do these things only if script allows you to play, to have more fun. You know, here we have some, for example, some sort of a zoom out, and horizontal panels are ideal for such kind of establishing where things is happening after this sort of dialogue. And then, to get more interesting, it's like 7 grid panel. Like to break in this some sort of a classical mid-plan conversation, which is kind of flat. You establish like, again in the diagonal position, one is like bird view, one is like frog view, and then you break it with some like extra zoom in with characters. And then you get, and actually these big heads are holding it together and make some pretty elegant page. Then we have, once again, 8 grid panel, kind of classical, where I play with sort of a static camera, emphasizing only on this character, the face expression. She's hurt, actually. She got hit in the shoulder, so we focus on her this time, and then to make a break, then we change the focus on the frog's view and then bird's view, and actually get to the point with the close-up. again, like 8-grid panel, but done different way, with very nice, elegant vertical panels, with those black surfaces and a little bit of red color actually to establish the rhythm, and actually hold this black close to the mid page to hold it together. And then again, to make it more interesting, 8-grid panel, but again different way, with rhythmically established horizontal and vertical panels. So it's lots of way to have fun. For example, once again, that would be 8-grid panel with established, which I call like camera panning down, where one character we have established throughout the 3 panels, and this one is falling down. And then with the cuts, you actually establish almost the movie rhythm and actually have the illusion of movement and energy. Again, 8-grid panels, but again, established different way. So I just want to show you that actually everything I show you is a mainstream classical comic book. But after 100 years or something of existing of comic books, you have to, and for example, I'm doing this job professionally for about 40 years. To make things interesting for me as an artist, I have to invent like every single day something which would amuse me and actually make me having fun out of this, like actually very hard job. So this is like classical 9-grid panel, which is more common in European, actually French comic industry. But again, with different display of grid inside the grid, with this phone booth, and like again establishing like strong black mass in the middle to hold it together. You again have sort of a very readable and elegant comic page. Oops! And this is even more fun. This is like 12-grid panel. They got smaller and smaller. You cannot go like to extremes. I established the 12-grid only because most of this page it's silent, without dialogues. You have dialogues only on the first 3 panels, but most of it is silent and actually goes for very quick cuts, very quick action, and then actually 12-grid doesn't feel too busy on this page because there's no dialogues to slow it down so well. And then we have to emphasize something horrible happening, things like that. Sometimes you go into 3 panels grid. This girl is scratching the guy, and actually on the last panel you discover it's actually the android or some machine talking on the phone. That's why I went for the very like large, very dramatic zoom in into characters. And this is called the parallel storytelling, which I established on double spread page with 2 panels each, the vertical panels, which kind of make it kind of elegant but very fast pacing. You have like hunt scene on this one, and then you have assassination committed in a public toilet, which kind of makes nice juxtaposition between shooting the pheasants and the murdering the politician in the toilet. This is something I invented. I actually never saw it in any other comics. I call it fishbone, the way of establishing panels on the page. It's done because of the bigger dramatizing and juxtaposition of the actions and different camera angles we got on this page. So this girl is like strangling the guy actually, and he tries to fight, and then you have like action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction, and so on until the some sort of a catharsis on the last grid. When guys when guy actually get in possession of some stone, and this is the next page where Fishbone gets in reverse. From almost the dead situation for the guy, he found the stone, and then he smashes the robot's head. Again, action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction, until the final solution. Called Fishbone. Nice. And this is kind of fun again. I call this one swastika. It's sort of a crude cross element or swastika where everything is static and everything happens at the same time. So we have view on the city, we have army downstairs, and then we have the main characters. This is the leader of some barbarian horde, whatever. All of them are happening at the same time, and you can actually read this panel from wherever you want to begin this page. So that's kind of fun. But it's functioning inside the script. It's a rule number 1. You're not supposed ever be displaying. It's not kindergarten. You're not supposed to damage the script. You always have to follow the script and actually, if you can, enhance it and make them play together as nice as possible.